On July 8, 1922, Paul departed for a mission in Germany. He recorded the following in his journal of an eventful trip to Oberammergau.
At 7 o'clock on the 15th of September, 1922, in the company of a few of my fellow elders, we left Essen for Oberammergau. We traveled all day on a fast train to the south of Germany. After passing Cologne, we traveled through some very beautiful country. We proceeded through several cities, among them Koblenz, where the American Army of Occupation was stationed. We saw the old stars and stripes flying and saw many American soldiers. About 5 p.m., we arrived in Stuttgart. Stuttgart is a wonderful city. It is a center of education and one of the finest cities in Germany. We spent several hours visiting different places, and in the evening, we went to an opera. It was my first experience in a German opera house. After the opera, we went to the depot and there waited until about 2 in the morning for the train to Munich. When we arrived in Munich, we all washed up a bit and bought some cards and wrote home, while we waited for the train to Oberammergau, where we were going to the famous Passion Play.
The post-war years were hard in Germany. Many cities were still in chaos. Paul describes the atmosphere in his journal.
Now and then an auto, loaded with German officers, would speed past. And then, down the middle of the street, a company of men would come with their equipment, knapsacks, bayonets, and helmets. Then, thundering through the narrow streets, a heavy truck would pass with smoking Frenchmen looking out the end. And still 6 or 8 soldiers would pass, with steaming food in a little wagon, drawn by mules, and following a cart carrying a stack of bread that looked days old. Many times on the cobblestone pavements a block or two away could be heard a regiment of cavalry with their supplies, followed by a few machine guns. Quite often, a company of soldiers would go on long hikes, and they would pass through the city streets. On hikes or walks, they do not keep in step or time, but are like a bunch of cattle. But they are well loaded, each man having food, a blanket, canteen, rifle, ammunition, helmet, and pistol. They form quite a sight when they walk through the town this way.
All during his 3-year mission, Paul corresponded with his sweetheart, Ida Schofield.
And don't ever think that one of your letters could tire me, because I look forward with the greatest joy to your letters. Every one that I have received from you has brought a feeling of joy and happiness to me. I realize that in only writing, I cannot tell you how I appreciate your letters. This pen can't do it, but maybe if you could read between every one of these lines, you could find something else written that words fail to express.
Ida and Paul were married September 8, 1927, almost 4 years after this letter was written.